Okay, so some of the first parts have finally arrived. I've got my extrusion, 3 lots of 2080s or 8020s and 2 lots of 2040s, 4020s, whichever way you look at it. Got some corner brackets, some rubber feet, some nuts and bolts. So now let's strip this out. It's become quite well packaged, as it always does actually from Banggood. But let's get this out and then play with the frame designs we've come up with and see which one is going to actually work better. Right, as per my first design, we've got the 8020s resting on top of the 4020s front and back. My original plan was this actual design, and I was thinking the 2020 corner brackets, one there, if you remember, if we can go under here as well, like that, and then hopefully get some decent corners for this. I mean, we could 3D print something for now, but I'm hoping that Banggood's got something for there. That's for that design, but that only gives us what 50mm pieces minus the 20 there, the 20 there, gives us 46. Well, if you remember, we only need about 41. So to strengthen this up even more, of course we need to bring these over anyway for the X, because that's not going to be able to ride. It needs a little gap or something here, don't we? So we can get the mounting equipment here. So we could potentially bring that over 20mm and have again the other side as well. So for example, we'll have one at the bottom, like that. One there, 2 there. That will give us a lot of rigidity, a lot more rigidity, and then it gives us a nice area here, which is what I want to try and rest the base in. So we can have a nice piece of MDF or whatever that would rest across here, all the way up, or you could even have it rest just past here, and then you've got a small clamping surface if you get your MDF inside here. But that all depends on the running gear. If we go for belt drive, then we're going to need potentially something under here. If we go for rollers, I mean. But if we go for MGR, then we won't need all this here, so we could potentially use that for mounting space, put the MDF so we're gaining more Z travel. But we've still got to work that out, this bit. If we rest the MDF on here, say 12mm MDF say, then we've still got 58mm there, so that wouldn't necessarily need to be as high, which should make it more rigid again. If this has to be higher because the base is higher, the spoil board's higher, then we've lost a lot of rigidity here, or we need to make this stronger. I'm hoping, just to get away with the one's X bar. So that's one idea. Also, if you notice with these, you've got little noggins to stop it moving inside there. So when it's in here, it's got no left and right movement. It's fine, but with no plastic, it reduces the left and right movement. But with the design we've just looked at, we'd have to file one of these off, potentially file these off on one side, which could make that wobble a bit more, which loses potentially a bit of rigidity, but who knows. Anyway, this is the second idea, which potentially we can then 2020 corner brackets 1, 2, which gives us an extra more rigidity there. But then I plan on raising it up with these little rubber feet, but then that potentially loses our using wheels. We'd have to stick to the MGRs. So that's that one. I really don't like the look of this because it loses its squareness. I want to try and keep it in a nice proportional square, and it loses its shape this way. And again, we'd have to, for the X, we'd have to bring these in a bit. So it would actually help. It would be a lot more rigid this way. because there's a chance that we can have 2 that side and 2 that side. So we've got 4 corner brackets securing it on each side, which is a lot stronger, I'm not going to lie. I'd even be tempted to remove that one because I know it'll be strong enough. And then again, that gives us something to rest the spoil board on all the way around, and then the spoil board can come flush with the frame. Now I'm talking about this idea, I'm starting to like this a bit more. I'd have to actually stand back and have a look at the frame on an open table and see what sort of shape it's giving me. But again, because of that, we lose all this. This would all be spoil board, all this up to here, so we'd only have 40 mil of travel on the Z there before we have to raise this up, in a sense. But then you've got your rollers or MGRs going here, so we've lost space under here if we use rollers, so that'd have to be there. We've only got 40 mil travel, so to get a good couple of inches of up and down travel, we need to be up here. So that's a downfall to this design. It's a lot more rigid on the X and Y, the actual frame. I mean, yeah, not on the X and Y, just the actual frame, but on the X, unless we bulk this up a lot, we've lost stability here, because that's going to have to be a lot higher. So that's that one. And the next one is pretty much the same. Hopefully that bar don't fall off. But rather than on the inside, we'll go on the outside. And we switch this round. I did it the wrong way. We're going to go on the inside, we'll go on the outside. Which is technically the same as that anyway, innit? But if anything, it puts us in an awkward position. So I might as well just discount this design, because if that goes on the inside, what's going to happen to this? I'm going to need a longer one of these. Yeah, it's not going to. So that design base might as well just go. So forget that one. Or do we? Can't really go on the inside. Could we? No, because then we'd either have to cut this down or get a longer bar. And I want to try and make this with as minimal tools as possible. Literally, you get the parts, screw it together almost. At the moment, with this design, we'd have to do a bit of cutting. So design 3, gone. Right, I'm back to design 1. I've just rested things in place again, including the little rubber feet. And I'm thinking, I really do prefer this design. The way it's laid out, I really do. It's a shame we have to have these here. We could get some metal corner brackets. I know we can get some of them off Banggood. I don't know the price of them, and we want to keep this on a budget, so if you've got a 3D printer, you could keep this here and just. But the thing is with these, I've noticed with these, we strengthen it up here, but I mean, we've got our X bar. That's going to need something, I don't know, for example, like an L shape. It needs to get a bit wider at the bottom so it's got its sturdiness there. But as we come forward, I don't want that plate to come into contact with this too much. But now I'm looking at it again. Once we've got a Z mounted and a router on, we probably won't become pretty much past that point anyway. Oh, we've got the router will probably come to say here, right on this edge, which is what I'm after. That's the thing. I want the router to be able to come right up to this furthest point on the spoil board. We might just get away with it with a nice figure something out here, but then if we go from the front there, and once that's at the back, we want that to go as far back as possible. We need to make sure it comes at an angle, so we need to try and probably come up with a shape that's wide at the bottom, like you see anyway. I don't just want some straight piece, I want something that's. So we're going to have to work on that for now and see how we get on. But even if we end up building something that we later replace with the machine we've built, that's what it's all about. So let me just figure this out. 500 mil. So say for example a router There's 5 mil out there, 5 mil there. We're still going to get a good, well over a foot of movement that way, X and Y. X and Y. Well, I say X and Y. We're just on the 41-ish there, 42. So we've got a foot there. We might have a little bit more Y movement than X. But as long as we get that square, foot square, I'll be happy.